Welcome back to CPAC 2024. Andy Mangione here on AMAC's Better for America podcast with Coach Joe Kennedy. You may have recognized this gentleman. He's a coach in Washington State that had the audacity to pray on the field, and then the party started, didn't it, Coach?
That's when things got really crazy and very interesting.
I bet. I've seen you speak at the Western Conservative Summit. You won a landmark religious liberty Supreme Court case as a result of what you were thrust into. We had a great off-camera discussion about, how really you were chosen to do this kind of work. This kind of work and this kind of advocacy on religious freedom found you.
Yes, I never intended for any of this to happen. The only thing I wanted to do was coach football. I never thought God could use a guy like me, especially where I came from. I was an unwanted pregnancy. I was an unwanted kid. I was always in trouble. I joined the Marine Corps just to get away and to find some kind of life for myself. So coaching was actually a fluke. And man, I tell you, I did it for 8 years, and the only thing I wanted to do was coach and thank God after a game. That's all it was.
So
something so simple.
Exactly right. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Tell us, set up your experience and what led you to where we are now.
Right. So I was praying after every single game. Now, sometimes the kids came over and joined. Sometimes they didn't.
Where were you praying? On the field?
Oh, on the 50-yard line, yeah.
Okay, all right.
After the game, when the two teams come together.
Certainly.
And I talk to the coaches, all that kind of stuff. As the team's walking off, I take a knee, face the scoreboard, and I say a prayer. Maybe 30 seconds, because I'm not a great prayer kind of guy. I'm like, God, thank you for letting me be here. Thank you for what the kids did. And then I go off the field. So it was really nothing at all. And this went on for 8 years. Now, the school district, somebody saw from another school district, saw what we were doing and gave the compliment to the principal, called them up and said, hey, I saw what your football program was doing, and it was just awesome. And a compliment started an investigation. The investigation led where the district lawyers said, yeah, you can't be praying with the kids. Now, I was like, well, it's your school, your rules. That's very unfortunate, because this is what made why we're here. It's because of a compliment. This was something great, but I understand. And I never prayed with my team again. Mm-hmm. Now the opposing team joined me. So, what am I going to do with that?
Right.
So, but then they gave me another letter and they said, you got to stop praying in public where people can see you. And I couldn't do that, because, if you take away somebody's First Amendment right, the simple act of a prayer, freedom of speech and, the free exercise, those mean something to me. We fought in combat for these things. Our history is on that. If we lose something as simple as a prayer, what is next? We lose the First Amendment, we have the rest of them all fall.
Right.
So that was a hill I was going to die on, and it cost me everything. So I took the stand and took a knee, and I said my prayer. I got put on suspension and terminated. I had to take it to court. We'd lost 7 times in a row, but we went to the Supreme Court twice just to get that victory.
I want to ask you, along this journey, did people step up to help you? Specifically, did lawyers come forth to help you? Because you're looking at a pretty expensive experience here.
Oh, it's so expensive. I cannot believe, I don't know how anybody would be able to do this alone. There were so many that came forward. I had local attorneys that just jumped forward and volunteered their time. And then I had First Liberty Institute and out of Texas that came forward, and they said, we're going to take on your case. You will never receive a bill from us. And I was like, this is the kind of people I need, because it costs almost $7 million for this case over 8 years.
Wow.
I don't know how anybody could possibly do that. So these people are dedicated to fight for our rights.
The first 7 times you lost.
And horrible. And try to imagine hearing, no, you're wrong. And the worst part about it, why I had to keep fighting, is because of the lower courts. They ruled that if you could be seen in public praying, you could be fired. Now let that sink in. Any job, if you have any religious, anything that's showing, if you're wearing a yarmulke or you have a cross around your neck, you could be terminated for that. That was my biggest fear, is that was going to stick. I would be the guy that ruined it for all Americans.
Right.
So that weighed on me. That weighed on me so bad. But they picked the fight with the wrong guy. Marines, we'd like to fight, and yeah, I was going to stay into the bitter end.
Tell us about the Supreme Court experience.
Really interesting. Very weird to go before the biggest court of the land over something so trivial as a 30-second prayer. But they were wonderful, and they clarified what the First Amendment really says, and they took away a horrible precedent that's been there for over 50 years that has stifled religious liberty in our country. The lemon, it's a big boring thing, but it's held back religious liberties and ruined it. 7,000 cases have been just denied because of this. So this is going to overturn 7,000 cases. We have more religious freedom in America today than we have had in over 50 years because of this case alone.
You made history, Coach Joe.
Yeah, that's so weird.
It is, and we were talking off camera how we're all sinners.
All right? I'm one of the biggest.
Well, we're all sinners, all right? And we are all mortal. We're all imperfect. But God chose you for this mission. And when you reflect upon that, it has to be kind of overpowering.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I wanted to write a book about it. We always see the headlines of, the praying coach and, Supreme Court and just the big headlines. But they need to know who I am, where I came from, that I am nobody. I am the average guy. There's nothing special about me. So I wanted everybody to be inspired. That's why I wrote the book, Average Joe. And it's there to inspire you that if God takes a guy as least likely as me and could change the entire landscape of our nation, imagine what he could do if everybody stood up for the rights. Exactly. And stood up as Americans and was proud of what they are and what they do. We could change this nation so easily.
Just take a stand.
It's so simple. So simple.
Where can people find your book? When did you write it? When was it published? And
it was
where can they find it?
Yeah, it came out in all bookstores, on Amazon, all those places. You could get it anywhere books are sold. It's called Average Joe. Also, you could go to my website, not very original, coachjoekennedy.com, and you could get a hold of all the information about the case. You could read up on all the boring stuff as far as I'm concerned, but anything you need, I'm there for you guys. And the really cool thing is we have a film coming out, going to be in theaters this fall, Average Joe.
You're kidding me. Now, we can talk about that, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
This is the first weekend I could talk about it.
That's great. Is Tom Cruise playing you?
Oh, no. I always said any idiot could play me.
Yeah.
I was worried who was going to play my wife. I wanted them to get that one right.
That's fantastic. Did you serve as a technical advisor, or were you involved in the production of the film?
Yes. I was part of writing the script. I wanted to make sure that they were true to...
Based on your book?
Based off of my life.
Okay.
It varies a little bit. You know how movies go. And they take some creative liberties. But they were really pretty true. And then I wanted to be on the set to see how a movie works. And they were really awesome. I got to spend time with the lead actor, Eric Close. And he was like spending so little time with me. He goes, you're easy to figure out. But Amy Acker, who plays my wife, that was awesome. She nailed it and spent so much time with my wife. But I did get to help with all the military scenes and be an advisor for those.
When does the movie come out?
October of this year. So
October,
yeah.
And it's going to be in theaters,
in
right?
theaters, yeah.
How exciting. So just think about, I wanted to, you've described how this, one 30-second prayer or a series of 30-second prayers changed your life. What are you doing with your time these days?
I do a lot of this. I go around and I try to help people just understand it doesn't take much. It really doesn't. And I encourage people to start in their home and with yourself. Get on your knee and pray. Yeah. Do something. Take it to your family. Take it to your community. Get involved in your churches. Get involved in your schools. And get out and vote. I mean, this year is the most important in anybody's lifetime. This is a year you need to be involved.
I've been doing these interviews all day, and that get out and vote, get involved in the election has been a recurring theme in just about every interview I've done. Can you see yourself coaching football again? Do you have a desire to coach football again?
I don't know where God's calling me to go.
You miss it?
I really did, especially the first 5 years where my guys were still in. But the school and that whole experience, it took the joy out of it. And so I'm just waiting for the next chapter to see what and I'm just willing. I'm here and available. And whatever God's calling me to do, I'm in.
So the book and the movie, Average Joe.
That's it.
That's it. We'll look for it in October. Coach Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. We appreciate you sharing your story with AMAC members, and good luck with the film, and good luck with the advocacy on behalf of our civil rights, our most precious rights to practice our religion and free speech. These are fundamental rights for the country, and we are grateful for patriots like you who are out there defending them. Thank you.
One more question. Can I join?
Can you join AMAC? Of course you can join AMAC. We were talking offline. I was telling people, you don't have to be 50. Even though our member benefits are geared for people who are 50 plus, Coach, we would love to have you as a member.
You got a member?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
You're very welcome.